Hi, Dav here, and today we have a new episode in the Art Review series. And today we'll be checking out the work of. Let me just translate this. Choi Young Song. Now, hopefully, this translation is correct. But the tag is Singapore Flyer with two R's. So I found this artist. I actually got interested. I think it was via their inks. I can't remember which one, but you know what? Before I continue with this episode, let me just remind you, for my viewers, sometimes the Art Review playlist will not display either in the home tab or in the playlist section of my channel, just because I think because of the content of some of my videos or because of some of the episodes in the playlist, it's because of the nature of its content. I think YouTube sort of hides it automatically. That kind of sucks, but my recommendation is to hit the link below. I started doing this in the past few episodes where I would link or I'll link the link of the RTV playlist, all of the episodes in the sort of first line in the description below. And I think that's pretty much the only way you can see the full playlist. Sometimes the actual playlist comes back and shows up, but it's kind of unreliable. So yeah, I'm gonna have to keep doing this every episode. For those of you who are interested in this art review series. Anyway, so just bookmark that link and yeah. So yeah, I was interested first in the inks, but as I scrolled down, I eventually saw some more colored, not just colored, but there's way more diverse illustrations. It kind of reminds me of the work of Raul, Moreno, Coslado. Another guy would have to be Max Grecke. You know what? Let me just write their names down to be safe. And aside from Max Gregg, I think another guy would have to be Kim Jacinto, maybe, in terms of the quality of the inks. Because even though the styles here are kind of diverse, the ink work is fairly clean and sort of touched up, meaning you don't see a lot of sketchy lines. Like it looks somewhat finished and just presentable. Right? And when it comes to textures, I think they're not as into textures. Maybe for the inks, basically the line work, but for the actual painting, I do notice they tend to stick to like flats instead. Oh, maybe there is some texture, but I think this one, if you zoom in, I think that's after. That's more of like a paper texture you add in the end as some kind of layer, with some kind of layer mode. But I don't think it comes from the actual brush. I think a lot of their work seems like flatly rendered and not necessarily painted. If it is painted, it looks more like cell shaded. It's a very common sort of rendering technique. But yeah, I just like uh, the diversity, of styles here. But if looking back at their recent work or at their more recent work, it's a lot more focused on inks, black and white only, very manga-ish. This reminds me of the guy from Boondocks. For those of you who know the show, it's I'm not sure if it's the first episode or second episode. Basically, two black guys. I think they had like an Uzi, kind of like this one. I think it's called an Uzi. But I think they both died. It's a funny series. I do recommend it, but I do like the style a little bit. For these types of illustrations over here, it seems like it would fit in. Like you would see these kinds of illustration in editorial art, um, especially the more exaggerated stuff like this one. The only thing that's missing here is the background, which is usually done in editorial illustrations. But yeah, I like that finished look. I do recommend Kim Jacinto for this one because a lot of his inks have that finished look. Um, This one is more manga-ish. Oh, I do see a little bit of an RGB shift effect. Pretty cool. I love the hatching. Oh, reminds me of Hoya. 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 Now, they did add a background. Even that has RGB shift. Pretty cool. This one's kind of this one's more like complete, meaning you have like a background, some kind of foreground. Oh, I think it's a coach, looks like it. And there's a student sort of cheering for someone. And it's either, it looks like an indoor court, so maybe it's either volleyball players or basketball players. But I do like how for these kinds of illustrations, they combine like photography elements to it. Meaning in this case, it's going to be like the lens blur and the lens flare rather, and the blur effect for the characters over here. So it has that sort of lens focus sort of view. And there's actually a little bit of an RGB shift effect as well. So there you go. Sorry, I just have some coffee here. It's actually getting kind of cold, so very disappointing. Kawaii. Kind of cute, very kawaii. It's kind of an old school Victorian. Is it Victorian? I don't think it's Victorian. It's like 19. I don't know, 70s, like vintage era. Here we have Superman. Look at the chin. I think that's called an overbite. But yeah, I just like the way they play a lot with the anatomy, and it feels like you're not necessarily breaking rules, but you are bending them. And I think that's a better way to approach art, because I think it can get tiring, always drawing things 1:1, like realistically. Maybe usually in the beginning stages is what you do, but over time you sort of have this urge to break away from that. And I think you don't have to go full on Pablo Picasso. I'm not a fan of his like the work he's actually known for. It's just too much for me. But you don't have to go that far. You can just bend the rules a bit. Play with the proportions, the anatomy, and I think you're gonna have way more fun, right? Because I feel like you can express more of yourself when you do things this way. Let me just adjust the microphone. It's kind of too high. Sorry. And yeah, even if it's exaggerated, it still looks finished with how Choi, is it Choi? Oh god, I think it's Choi. With how this artist does it. Well, let me go back. You'll notice in the background, it's actually painted. I can even see like the round brush. And in this case, it has some opacity in it. It's not very opaque. That's pretty cool. And I do like this sort of combination for this first. I think it's Superman. It's a combination of inks plus painting a bit, but the painting is not that complex. I love the forearm is like super thin, but yeah, pretty cool. So I'm not sure. Minji and Olivia. I'm not sure if this is fan art or original art, but again, oh, look at that bold line around the full figure. Pretty cool. It's so like tight and clean. And no matter how exaggerated it is, it always has that nice finish to it. Like you could make these like stickers or something. Um, like it's so printable or shareable online. As much as I love impressionistic sketches or paintings, this kind of art just sells more. I feel like, not just like money wise, but also like visually. There's just something. Oh yeah, it's the concrete look. Like the silhouette is just tight, clear, no ambiguity at all. It's just straight to the point. Kind of like this guy's nose. Um, Damini. I'm not sure what that is, but it's kind of like a hip hop. Is she black or Asian or Blasian? Interesting. I do see a lot of soft brushes for the pants, and well, not just the pants, but the clothes. Well, it's not just the clothes; it's the actual environment. Lots of soft lighting effects. Pretty cool. You know these types of shoes. You know, I know people are into them, but I just never got into this whole thing. I prefer like the Converse. Well, sorry, not Converse, but Vans, like those types of slip-on shoes or Skechers slip-on shoes. They're just way more. I do prefer the Vans more. Those types, the slip-on shoes. That's just my thing. I mean, they look like it looks like they have cushion, so it may be nice to have, but it just never got to me. I do know a lot of basketball people or those who are into basketball or who play basketball love these kinds of shoes. But yeah, I do recommend to scroll down because you see way more styles. I think this way. I mean, look at this guy. Even though it's like one panel, a guy just looking straight at you. There's a lot of there is narrative in this guy's work or in this chick's work. Who knows? Um, oh wow, mother, easy. Yeah, it's just even if it's just one panel or kind of like this or just one like character with just a plain white background, there's always something to it. You know, there's always some kind of story that makes you want to look more at it or look more into it. And again, despite the style changes here and there, uh, you know, it always has that clean look. And those bold lines are very common in their work, very Art Nouveau-ish. Uh, and what I mean by that, for those of you who don't know, it just means like it has like these lines on the outside silhouette. It's usually a lot thicker, right? And it helps kind of segment things and create some kind of hierarchy. For those of you who've been to in architecture school, engineering school, design school, like how you do floor plans, there's a way to do it, and you have to have a certain amount of line weight for each kind of thing. For example, furnitures tend to have like thinner lines compared to say the lines to indicate walls. And when you have all of these lines together, it actually makes the floor plan or elevation view a lot easier to read just because you see this hierarchy, you know. Without that hierarchy or that difference in line weight, it's gonna be all the same thing and it's just not gonna be as readable. So when people do this, it's yeah, it's for visual impact, but the reason why it's impactful, the reason why it's impactful is because of its readability. You know, there's no question. There's just straight to the point. And again, despite the styles, the colors are still the same, or it's done the same flats, maybe some textures added afterward, but it's not like painted in. The only exception so far is the Superman, which we reviewed recently, and that was like mainly in the background. Um, oh, nice ring or piercing under the lower lip. Oh, is that a choker? Yeah, yeah, cell shaded. Um, not sure what the text means, but she probably found something or is seeing something interesting, shocking, that's making her nervous. It reminds me a little bit of the anatomy of, for those of you who've seen the Disney show Kim Possible. It's an old show now, but it was kind of a big one of the big shows during my childhood. And the anatomy, especially for the hands, kind of remind me of. Sorry, of Kim Possible. By the way, she was my childhood crush. And even Gwen from Ben 10. By the way, both of them have redheads or have orange hair. Or they're redheads or they have orange hair, so I don't know. Maybe that's something to explore. Okay, this one is just a black and white. It's two cowboys, but look at that. Now this one they're trying to show or they're emphasizing value here, even though it's just two values. They're not illustrating the figures via lines only or contour lines. I think because some of you or one of you have asked in a very old video or in my previous videos, like what's a good example of an artist who knows how to use negative shapes, and I don't believe I was able to answer you just because I don't know anyone who has like a consistent amount of work that has good negative shapes. People who are good in composition tend to have an understanding of negative shapes, but I think this guy or this specific piece anyway is a good example of using negative shapes. For example, you could have added a line there, but you don't have to because your mind just sort of fills up or fills in those gaps, right? So that's kind of the power of negative shapes. You can just allow the viewer to do the work. Not all of it, but if you leave some openings here and there, it just helps your viewer become more engaged. And you know what's interesting is the way this hatching was done. Right? It's very well done. So usually when you do inks, it's black on white, right? But in this case, it's white on black. So I'm assuming they did the black area first, and then they added the whites after. Very interesting way of hatching. Very clean too. Reminds me of one of those like um I don't know, those classic inking or inked. You know those inked sort of artworks on paper money, on dollar bills, or whatever the money you have is. It's kind of like that. Or etching. It looks like etched art to me. Um but yeah, pretty cool. But and again, very diverse style. Now this one they have a bit of a background. Now, this guy over here seems a bit sus. I'm not even sure where the other hand is, so maybe he's gonna drop uphill or something. I don't know. The positioning is just not good, and I feel like she's like a like she looks kind of naive. No offense. So anyway, oh again with the redheads or orange hair people. Now this one looks more like Gwen Tennyson. And the main texture here. Oh, it's not just the inks, but the colors underneath. They have like a jitter in the edge, so it gives you that rougher sort of paper torn texture in the edge anyway. But after all that, they do have or they do add some noise texture in the end as well. Pretty cool. Let's look at this old guy. Right, inks only, no color, but again, just change, play around with the proportions, you know. And yeah, so I think their favorite brush would have to be the sort of inked or this ink brush with a strong texture to it. Basically, it has a lot of again jitter, so it gives off that rough look or that gritty look. But I have seen some inks where it's a bit soft, so or this one's a bit thin or a bit clear or clean rather. The inks. Let me check out this. Wow. Excuse me. Uh, Look at that. Kinda looks like Johnny Bravo. For those of you who don't know, it's like a classic cartoon. I think it's from Cartoon Network. Like super big upper torso and small like and small like legs. But in this case, yeah, she has like big broad shoulders, but her legs are kind of there. And she has a nice. Um, but again, look at how simplified the forms are. But it's attractive, right? It's hot. And again, the inks. In this case, it's gonna be in red, right? Oh, so cool. I'm not even sure if they do this in one go or if they have like sketches beforehand to get to this stage. I feel like you kind of want to not do too many sketches because I think you can lose like the energy if you keep reworking the same sketch. I don't know. Oh, these are more like realistic types of sketches or semi-realistic. Pretty cool. So you can tell this artist pretty much draws a lot. Oh, reminds me of what's her name? Oh, look at them dogs. Oh, look at them puppies. There you go. It's I do recommend you go to their Twitter or X. I will link this page by the way, just because the images are extremely large, so you're gonna have a wonderful time zooming in. So anyway, again, they have they have their favorite sort of ink brush here with the jittered edge or rough edge. But this thing over here, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh my god. Ooh. Ooh la la. And again, the way she's like looking at you, over the shoulder. Kawaii. You want a taste of this? Huh? Huh? Long hair too. I mean, that's super cool, right? But look at how they're exaggerating the anatomy. Very editorial illustration esque. Um, and for the face, I don't think they have like rules. It does differ from character to character. Just look at how this thing is simplified. And notice how it's being shown via a negative space, right? Everything else outside the feet is like black. And the only lines you see is like these ones, the folds or the soles of the foot. Sorry, the wrinkles in the sole. And then some indication for the pinky and the other fingers, or sorry, the other toes. Very cool. And the line work is very minimalistic. This is another example, a good example of negative shapes, or a good use of negative shapes as well. Even the hair, the way it's done. Ooh, so much to see. Oh, it's Asuka. Oh, it's not. Is it? Oh no, it's the another redhead. It's the Pokemon girl. Gotta catch 'em all. Looks like a Chinese goddess with the typical, or it's the cultural sort of. I forgot. Shopao. I'm forgetting the name. It's something like that. So elegant. Kawaii. Oh, the rendering is a bit different. I do see a lot more soft brushes being used. Interesting, but it's still fairly simple. And that's what I noticed about their work. The rendering, if it's not just flats, it's just left simple. Now this one is all in grayscale with some RGB shift effect, but that's it. But again, look at the guy being like thrown. Very exaggerated features. A couple of witches, right? Yeah. Wait, let me just go back to the top. Because recently they have been focusing more on like black and white stuff or grayscale. We do some grayscale like flats. Um, So maybe they're doing some kind of story or manga, who knows? Oh, look at this. Yeah, they have their one favorite pen. It's that gritty pen. Oh, look at the way it's just arcing. Oh, ooh. And of course, this one. We can't ignore this one just because. There you go. That's how it's done. Oh, and I think for the environments, maybe they have like a 3D model as a base. Looks like it. Who knows? But I think they still inked it themselves. It looks like it. Maybe. You know what? I'm guessing they did this in Photoshop just because of how this pen looks. It happens when you hold like the shift, like you press the pen on something on some point, you hold shift and then you press the pen point somewhere else. I think that's what happens. Like you get this kind of effect. Just my guess. Who knows? You know, I think it's a good look. Given even if the coloring underneath the flats or the cell shading, even though there's not much texture there, I think it's compensated or balanced out with the heavy gritty texture of this like pen, and I think it works. And again, it's so clean. It's so clean. Look at those chompers right there. There you go. That's it. So let's just go further down because I think we see more styles. I think so. Somewhere here. Wait, did we open that in a new tab? Oh, we did. Where's the? Did I lose the? Oh, I found you. Oh, there you go. There you go. Ooh, grippers. Um. Oh, this one is a. It looks like a shot from a music video. Oh, is that the Hermes from Hercules, the Disney sort of version, anyway? Here we have a nice woman. Now the face is super like chibified or cartoonized. But again, it's like so. I just love the style, like the constant like change and how it still looks so clean in the end. Like ooh, like they just know where to put those lines, those ink lines, and when they do render stuff, they can actually pull it off. So in this case, it's Gwen and the guy Morales, Miles Morales. What's going on here? Easy. Oh wow, she looks kind of. Oh, I think she's trying to give me her number. Can I? Look at oh wow. Now, this one seems a lot more angular, right? Very sharp, straight lines usually, compared to the other stuff. Compared to this one, at least, this one seems it has like more curves to it. Oh wow! It's the again, it's from the movie Hercules, I think, uh, from the Disney movie, or it's a Disney movie. Like this person, this artist knows how to illustrate some nice because you can tell if people kind of skip it. I mean, you can. It's not just the feet; it's the hands too. Like they have a way of drawing it to kind of simplify it, and you can tell if they're good at foreshortening it. Foreshortening it, Jesus, kind of like this hand over here. Oh, I do recommend again you check out Kim Hacindo because he has like a couple of pieces where he'll draw the hand sort of reaching out to you, and he just knows where to put those lines. Um, that's pretty cool. And That's so cute. Kawaii. Look at that. Any single people here? Oh, it's so over. Are the clouds painted? Maybe. I think it is. There you go. Look at those puppies. Very long feet too. Look at them toes. Oh wow. Very cute couple. That's a big bulge. Anyway, oh, I love the hair, the afro hair, pretty cool. Oh, and again, RGB shift effect. Can we zoom in? And again, their favorite ink pen. Look at those abs. Hi, my name's Tyrone. Tyrone Magnus. Or Tyrone Magnum. Okay, stop. Yeah, I just like the stylized sort of art. Oh, Ramon Nunez. Let me write his name now. Fuck, I can't talk. Let me write his name down. Ramon Nunez. There you go. And again, it has a nice balance of like it's not painted. I mean, it is painted, but it's not so much that because you have to consider the actual ink lines. So if you paint it too much, you're kind of taking over the piece. So I think they have a way of just stopping before um it gets too much, right? And I think they want to prioritize the inks more than the actual painting. Um, yeah, pretty cool. Now this one seems a little more sketchy. It's Wonder Woman. I actually did expect Wonder Woman to be a little more buff. Wait, sorry. I do know in the comics she's a lot more beefier because she's like an Amazonian sort of woman. Um, I think it's because of Gal Gadot, her casting sort of choice for that movie. Like, I mean, she's okay, but she just seems a bit thin for the role. Um, um, Interesting. I do see a little bit of a blur effect. This one seems like, or not seems, it is it's a complete image. Background is done, foreground and everything. It's like a full-fledged illustration, and it has again that photographic effect where you have like a little bit of a blur. It almost looks like a camera shot, right? Oh, it's Team Rocket from the Pokemon sort of world. Come on, look at that. Oh, she seems like a tsundere. Look at that. Oh, the tan skin. Come on. Oh, it's from the film, the drumming film. I forgot. Look at this guy. Oh, I love those lines. Very thick. And again, it has, again, that finished look to it. Um, Very, very cool. And in the end, they always like either they gravitate towards the noise texture in the end and the RGB shift effect. I forgot the show. I haven't seen the show, but it has something to do with bad stuff. Powerpuff Girls, right? Their version of it anyway. Ooh. Not as kawaii as the original show, but I get it. The Simpsons seem like a special family. Easy. What the hell is this? Wait, can I see the full image? Oh, it must be. Wait, what's this? Cute. Let me just zoom on this one. Oh, it's like a shot, a panel shot. Moana. I've seen the show or the movie, but I'm not sure why the lighting is done that way. It almost looks like a horror movie. Like she's about to beat you with that freaking paddle. You're in my island now. Anyway, what? Excuse me. Oh, it's from the anime Princess Mononoke. I'm not sure why her eyes are glowing. Did her eyes glow in the show in one particular point? I don't even think so. But the blood is definitely uh on par. Looks kind of horrifying to me. Maybe that's the intention. Da, 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 da. Oh, I love those nails. Oh, I recommend the work of Otto Schmidt because he has like a nice way of exaggerating the human figure. Otto Schmidt, SCHMIDT Schmidt. Interesting. Very glamorous. Mwah. Uh, I was gonna say Aang from the Airbender, but I don't know. Why is he wearing a mask? Maybe he's sick? Oh, let me see this video. Maybe it's a process sort of thing. Translate post. Ugh, useless. Oh my god, it's a slideshow. How deceptive. Is this Miku? Whenever I see blue hair or aqua hair, I always think Miku. And yeah, there's just so much to see here. And I don't think we have enough time. Oh shit, 38 minutes? Oh my god. I think I've enjoyed myself too much with this episode, but I think this guy just likes like meme content too. Um, I feel like there's so many references I'm missing, but oh, look at them dogs. There you go. Look at them puppies. Anyway, that's it for this video. Oh, look at that mouth. God. No teeth, please. What the? Okay, I'm gonna stop. There you go. And yeah, such a cool artist. Um, yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Is that Hercules again? Although this one is more painted. Interesting. So yeah, just a point of just something to remember for in regards to this artist. You have to zoom further or go scroll. Sorry, scroll further back to be able to see more stylistic variety or changes. And I do recommend you have to zoom in just because the images they share are pretty big, and you're gonna enjoy actually zooming in. You know what? Maybe just a few more. Like this artist has such a huge amount of work. Now this one is mostly painted. Pretty cool. It's kind of like an airbrush technique. But that's it. Wait, where is this from? I feel like I've seen the show before. Ah, no idea. Oh, wow. So hottie, hottie, and hottie, and hottie. Yeah, that's it. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.